In order to really move anywhere, the first thing that you've got to do is decide where you want to go. Now, I was reading a book several years ago, The 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And in that book, Tim Ferriss, he actually says, for all of the talk that people have today about being held back, or for all of the talk that people have about, I don't have the right education or schooling, I don't have the right economic situation, I've got too many responsibilities, I'm just too busy, there's not enough time in the day. For all of the talk and all of the reasons that people give about why they can't pursue their dreams or why they can't make a shift in life, he says the reality is a lot of people can't even tell you what it is that they're being held or restrained from. In other words, in life, a lot of people haven't defined where it is that they want to go. Now, that's really kind of odd because we know just in normal everyday terms that in order to move anywhere, the first thing that you've got to do is decide where you want to go. But for instance, right now, while I'm talking on this video, I tend to get a little bit hungry because I'll be here for several hours doing this. And at some point, I'm going to want something to eat. Now, I know where all the restaurants are around here in downtown Birmingham because I've lived here for years. But if I didn't know, I could pull out, this information here from my app on my smartphone, and I could just, hey, Siri, show me nearby restaurants. Siri would show me several options, several possibilities. So there's different possibilities for your dream. Your destination doesn't have to be the same as someone else's. In fact, it's your life. You get to decide. And I would say if you don't decide, you'll notice very quickly that other people will be quick to import their dreams onto you about what they think that you should do. Or they'll be very quickly to import their dreams onto you to get you to help serve them in pursuing their dream. And so you look and there's multiple options. You get to decide which of the multiple options you want for you. But the first thing I have to do is decide where I want to go. In fact, I can't go anywhere until I first decide where it is that I want to go. Well, the next thing that's going to happen, and this is really kind of point number 2, the first point being to envision what you would really like to see in the future, to define where it is that you want to go. Again, I would say best case scenario, define what is the best case scenario in your relationship with your spouse or significant other. I'm just holding up the book right there. In your relationship with your kids. In terms of your physical health, what's the best case scenario for you? What does it look like for you to be healthy, to be whole physically? Because there are incredible dreams inside of you. There's a great purpose inside of you. And the healthier you are physically, the more capable you are of delivering that capacity to the world. What about your finances? What's the best case scenario for you? Or in your friendships, in your faith life? These are all destinations that you get to, that you need to, that you'll be best served by, and other people will be best served by you actually defining. And again, once you do that, your mind's going to go into overdrive, scanning the universe for clues as to how to put that together and how to make that happen. Well, once you define where you want to go, I want to go to a certain restaurant, the next thing that you have to do, the next thing Siri will do is actually pinpoint where I am right now. Okay, we have to define where we want to go, but we also have to own where we are currently, because this map is going to give me the directions from where I am to where I want to be, not from some other location to where I want to be. You always have, and this seems so obvious that we don't even think about it. You always have to start where you are. You have to begin where you are. You can't begin somewhere else. You have to begin where you are. Now, let's pause right there. Here's one of the things that hinders a lot of us right here. In fact, it's hindered me before. I'll tell you how. Is we need to get on with the fact that where you are is not who you are. Let me say that again. Where you are is not who you are. Where you are is simply the location of where you happen to be right now. Now you see, if it's talking about going to a restaurant, it's kind of emotionally neutral. I physically just happen to be in this location. I don't have any emotional attachment to that whatsoever. And so I'm completely fine owning this is where I am right now. Even physically, if I'm lost and don't know where I am, I'm happy for Siri to say, hey, here's where you are. And if you want to get over there, we got to step in that direction because here's where you are now. But so often in life, we have all of these emotional attachments and this baggage and hurts and wounds where we are a little bit reticent to actually own where we happen to be right now. That we can see the best case scenario is a thriving marriage, but where we are right now is, let's be honest, we're just kind of roommates. Where we want to be is physically healthy and whole. We want to be at, our ideal weight or what we perceive that to be, which is, again, you get to define. It's your dream, but we realize in our physical health we're 20 or 30 pounds away from that. Or we're a little bit sluggish. We physically can't do certain things that we realize we should be able to do. And we don't own that. We're a little bit hesitant to own that, in the friendship area, we're kind of not, we don't have any. We're kind of alone. And again, where you are is not who you are. Where you are is simply the location. A couple years ago, I was 40, 50 pounds overweight. And I tell you, I would not jump on the scale. I would hide when we took pictures, family pictures or photos with friends. I would just kind of shift other people or pull a kid up in front of me because I didn't want to own where I was. But where I was is where I was. Own it or not, where you are is where you are. But where you are doesn't determine your value. It doesn't determine your purpose. It doesn't determine any other thing other than happening to be the present location. So in order to move anywhere, we must first own where we are. Now, let me tell you one of the reasons that that's important, once you get over kind of the emotional hijack of it all, is we want to build a plan from where we are to where we want to be. We want to build a plan from where we are to where we want to be, but we want to build it backwards. We want to really reverse engineer it. And so in the material, and I'm going to show you how to do that. In fact, we talk about it all in this book. If you open up in this book and you look in chapter 6 here, we really explain how to do that. In fact, I'm going to give you some material straight out of this book here in just a second where we break that down. Reverse engineering, it really is kind of back engineering. It kind of starts at the destination first and says, well, what would be the step that's previous to that destination? And so we write down that step. And what would be the step before that? And we write down that step. And what would be the step before that? And we write down that one. And we build ourselves all the way back to where we happen to be. And when we do this, it works really well because it makes sure that the steps that we take aren't random steps. Like we're not just headed off in some random direction that we think we'll get there. We built the map from there to here. That's what Siri does. When you put it in your smartphone, want to go to the restaurant. We define the destination. We own where we are right now. And then you'll notice it happens so quick. The map comes from there to here, ensuring that the first steps that we take from here actually lead there. And so it keeps us from taking random steps where we're going to eat or in all of life. And also it keeps us on track as we move forward. It helps us really chart our progress and see that we're moving forward in the right direction. And let me give you a caution here. There are multiple ways to reach the same destination. Now, you may recall when you use the smartphone app, the app will say, hey, do you want to take the quickest route? Do you want to take the route with more traffic? Do you want to take the route on the highway? Do you want to take this one? This one will be slightly faster. Do you want to take the walking route, the bus route? All different sorts of options. And so when it comes also to living out your dream and taking your steps, there are multiple ways to do the exact same thing. And so again, you get to map it out, you get to decide. But again, go back to the first scenario. The first important thing to do is really define where you want to go. The second thing is to own where you are now, wherever that is. And then we start breaking down that bridge.